The Atacama Desert, located in northern Chile, stretches over 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles, along the Pacific coast, flanked by the Andes Mountains to the east. It is the driest non-polar desert on Earth, with some areas having not received measurable rainfall in recorded history. While the landscape may appear barren and lifeless, beneath its seemingly inhospitable exterior, life thrives in extraordinary ways. Plants, animals, and human communities have evolved over thousands of years to adapt to this extreme environment, developing unique survival strategies. To understand life in the Atacama Desert, it's essential to comprehend its geography and climate. The region's hyper-arid conditions are due to a combination of geographical and meteorological factors. The Andes create a rain shadow effect, blocking moisture-laden winds from the Amazon basin, while the Pacific Ocean's Humboldt Current brings cold water to the coast, preventing the formation of significant moisture-laden clouds. As a result, most of the desert is bone dry, with daytime temperatures soaring to over 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and plummeting below freezing at night due to the lack of moisture to retain heat. The desert is not uniform, though. It contains salt flats, sand dunes, rocky plateaus, and barren lunar-like valleys. In some areas, high concentrations of salt create a surreal landscape where not even bacteria can survive. The lack of organic matter makes the soil some of the most Mars-like on Earth, which is why NASA and the European Space Agency conduct tests there in preparation for Mars exploration. Despite the absence of rain, life finds a way. The flora of the Atacama Desert has evolved to cope with extreme aridity, relying on alternative moisture sources such as fog and dew. One of the most striking adaptations is seen in plants like tillandsia, a type of bromeliad, which doesn't rely on soil for nutrients and water. Instead, it extracts moisture from the air. These air plants are perfectly adapted to capture water from the camanchaca, the dense coastal fog that sweeps across parts of the desert, providing a critical source of moisture. Succulents, such as the copiapoa cacti, are another marvel of adaptation. These cacti store water in their fleshy stems, enabling them to survive long dry spells. Their thick outer layers reduce water loss, and their spines help direct water toward the plant's base, increasing its ability to absorb every drop of moisture. In the rare instances when rainfall does occur, the Atacama bursts into a phenomenon known as the desierto florido, or flowering desert. Seeds of desert plants, lying dormant for years or even decades, suddenly germinate, covering the ground in a stunning array of wildflowers. This transient bloom is short-lived, but it stands as a powerful testament to the resilience of life in the Atacama. The harsh climate of the Atacama has also shaped the fauna that live there, with each species evolving to cope with extreme dryness and temperature fluctuations. One of the most notable desert dwellers is the vizcacha, a rodent that resembles a cross between a rabbit and a chinchilla. Vizcachas are adept at conserving water, obtaining most of their hydration from the plants they consume. Their nocturnal habits help them avoid the intense daytime heat, allowing them to minimize water loss through sweat and respiration. Reptiles like the Liolamus lizard have developed specialized adaptations to survive in the extreme environment. These small lizards can endure long periods without food or water by regulating their body temperature and metabolism. They seek refuge in the shade of rocks during the hottest parts of the day, emerging to hunt insects or small plants when temperatures cool. The Andean flamingo, one of the rarest species of flamingos, makes its home in the salt flats of the Atacama. These birds have evolved to filter feed on algae and plankton from the highly saline waters of the desert's salt lagoons. Their specially adapted beaks allow them to feed in this environment where few other animals can survive. The flamingo's long legs enable them to wade through the shallow, briny water, and their bright pink plumage stands out against the stark white of the salt flats. Another impressive survivor is the Atacama Desert scorpion. This nocturnal predator has adapted to the lack of moisture by evolving a highly efficient exoskeleton that minimizes water loss. Scorpions in the Atacama can survive for months without food, obtaining the necessary moisture from their prey. They burrow deep into the ground during the day to escape the blistering heat, emerging at night to hunt. Bird species such as the Andean condor soar high above the desert, using their massive wingspan to cover great distances in search of carrion. These birds, along with other scavengers, play a vital role in the desert ecosystem, cleaning up the remains of animals that perish in the harsh conditions. Beyond visible life forms, the Atacama Desert is home to some of the most resilient microbes on Earth. These extremophiles thrive in the desert's driest regions, where the lack of water combined with high UV radiation would seem to preclude any form of life. Yet, scientists have discovered colonies of bacteria that survive by metabolizing trace amounts of water from the atmosphere or subsisting on chemical compounds in the soil. These microbes have adapted to endure extreme desiccation, entering a dormant state when conditions become too harsh and reactivating when moisture levels rise. Their ability to survive in the Atacama has provided insights into how life might exist in similarly hostile environments on other planets, such as Mars. Human communities have inhabited the Atacama Desert for thousands of years, despite the extreme challenges posed by its lack of water and searing heat. Indigenous groups like the Aymara and Atacama people have developed sophisticated agricultural techniques to survive in this barren landscape. One of their most ingenious methods is the use of underground aquifers and ancient irrigation systems known as qanats, which allow them to tap into water sources buried deep beneath the desert surface. These subterranean channels bring water to the surface, enabling the cultivation of crops like maize, potatoes, and quinoa, plants that are hardy and well-suited to dry conditions. The terraces of the Andes, where many of these communities live, are ingeniously designed to make the most efficient use of water, capturing runoff from the mountains and directing it to their fields. In coastal areas where fog is more abundant, communities have turned to innovative technologies such as fog nets. These large vertical mesh structures are designed to capture moisture from the fog, condensing it into water droplets that are collected and used for drinking, irrigation, and livestock. This technique, while modern, is based on the ancient knowledge of how to harness the limited water resources of the desert. Mining, particularly for copper and lithium, plays a significant role in the modern economy of the Atacama Desert. While these industries provide employment, they also pose challenges for water conservation, as the extraction of minerals requires large amounts of water. As a result, communities and industries are constantly searching for new ways to balance economic development with the sustainable use of water resources. In recent decades, the Atacama Desert has become a hub for astronomical research. Its high elevation, dry air, and lack of light pollution create ideal conditions for observing the night sky. The European Southern Observatory, ESO, operates some of the world's most advanced telescopes in the Atacama, including the Very Large Telescope, VLT, and the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, ALMA. These observatories allow astronomers to peer deep into the universe, studying distant stars, galaxies, and black holes with unprecedented clarity. The desert's pristine conditions have made it one of the best places on Earth for space exploration and astronomical research, attracting scientists from all over the world. The observatories have led to groundbreaking discoveries, such as the observation of young star-forming regions and detailed studies of the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. As the climate continues to change and human activity increases in the region, the future of life in the Atacama faces new challenges. Water scarcity is becoming more acute, and the balance between economic development and conservation is increasingly precarious. However, the Atacama Desert's long history of human and ecological resilience suggests that life in this extreme environment will continue to adapt in surprising and innovative ways. In conclusion, the Atacama Desert may be the driest place on Earth, but it is far from lifeless. From its hardy plants and animals to its ancient human communities, life in the Atacama is a story of survival, ingenuity, and adaptation. This harsh yet awe-inspiring landscape serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience of life in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds.